Welcome back to First Take. Karl-Anthony Towns had a strong finals debut in the Knicks Game 1 win as the big man was active on both ends of the floor, scoring 18 points along with 4 assists on the offensive end while holding Wemby to 2 of 12 from the field when defending him. Here's Karl-Anthony Towns on the evolving role he's played for the Knicks.
I just want to impact winning, so whatever the team needs me to do to impact winning and to help us get over the hump and get that win on that night, I'm willing to do. And last night was a night where a lot of things happened. Jalen got hurt, changed my role. Jalen came back, I had to change my role again. Throughout the game, you're changing your role, 3-4 times. But whatever my role is, I got to be the best at it and impact winning. And I thought last night I did a good job. But whatever my role was called to be that night, I wanted to be a star in that role.
You're smirking. I don't know why. I'll say this. Throughout the entirety of this season, not even just these playoffs, I felt like we were Karl-Anthony Towns need to be better. They need to find a different situation for Karl-Anthony Towns. Karl-Anthony Towns needs to step up. Okay. He's answered the call now. He's doing what the team needs them to do. How much has the narrative around Karl-Anthony Towns changed?
Oh, it's been perfect because I think at one point we felt like we have to keep Cat happy. Everybody kind of felt like the consensus around the league was if he starts pouting, you got him. You know what I mean? And I think it was beautiful for him and his coach to get together and say, hey, man, you're not going to have to shoot it 30 times, but you're going to be involved 30 times. You know what I mean? I think that provides a comfort for a player to say, hey, no matter what, I'm going to touch this basketball no matter what's going on. It's going to come through here. I'm going to get to survey. I can make a move. It makes you almost more efficient to know I have more touches. If you only getting a certain amount of touches, you're way thirstier. I think that we saw Karl-Anthony Towns have so many turnovers of him just putting his head down, forcing a drive that wasn't there early on in the season. It was because he felt out of place. He felt like I need to do more. I need to be a star, and I can't be a star and Jalen be a star. I think now you're seeing that Jalen's the better one to be able to say, I can manipulate how I get mine. I can go off the ball. I can do this. I can do that. And it plays into what Cat has going on. Cat, he's done an incredible job of responding to it.
People don't really think, and I'm glad you spoke to this, about the emotional and psychological components of the
Straight
game.
up.
And certain players. And everybody's not the same. Everybody's not built the same, wired the same. And it just seems to me, and I'm not around Karl, that often, but it just seems to me that he's in a place where being involved is important to him. And the more he's involved, the better off he is probably at both ends of the floor. Because that reward offensively leads to, it seems to me, a more involved Cat. We know there's some things that still happen. We're not going away from the storyline about ticky-tack fouls just yet. That still tends to happen.
Yeah.
And we'll see if the Spurs can sort of, exploit that tonight if that still exists. But, yeah, the narrative around him has changed. Even from the time he left Minnesota, which goes to your earlier question, or earlier topic, and sort of what Karl-Anthony Towns was going to be. This seems to be, and emotionally, by the way, Karl-Anthony Towns been about the emotional and psychological components of the
Straight
game.
up.
And certain players. And everybody's not the same. Everybody's not built the same, wired the same. And it just seems to me, and I'm not around Karl, that often, but it just seems to me that he's in a place where being involved is important to him. And the more he's involved, the better off he is probably at both ends of the floor. Because that reward offensively leads to, it seems to me, a more involved Cat. We know there's some things that still happen. We're not going away from the storyline about ticky-tack fouls just yet. That still tends to happen.
Yeah.
And we'll see if the Spurs can sort of, exploit that tonight if that still exists. But, yeah, the narrative around him has changed. Even from the time he left Minnesota, which goes to your earlier question, or earlier topic, and sort of what Karl-Anthony Towns was going to be. This seems to be, and emotionally, by the way, Karl-Anthony Towns been through a lot of things, particularly during the COVID period.
Yeah,
Lots of people close to him in his life who wanted to see him, nothing more than him play in Madison Square Garden as a hometown kid.
Yeah.
And he has realized that, and people in his family, his dad is great when his father's there, and they've realized that. And I think he's one of those guys who, when he's put in that situation and is involved and depended on and feels good about what he's doing, and Mike Brown has tapped into that. Let's face it now, as great a coach as Tibbs could be, Tibbs is not warm and fuzzy. Can I say that? Is that fair?
Yeah, he would
That's
admit
more
that.
than
I'm
fair.
sure he'd
And so-
admit
He's
that.
definitely not changing his principles.
No,
Yeah.
and I think that the match there is something that's important.
Yeah.
So one of the things I love about the NBA is how everything is a journey. The playoffs, each series is a journey. The playoffs is a journey. The season's a journey. I was with the Knicks in Abu Dhabi in October for a week. Karl Towns was not in a good place because he was watching how Mike Brown was putting this offense together, and there was not a place for him. And he made a little bit of a stuff about it. He basically just burdened it. He just carried it. Now you look at where they're at, and they make this adjustment. And now not only does he have an incredible role in the offense, but his confidence. I'm not sure a year or two ago he could have the confidence to play the type of game against Victor, what they needed from him. And look, Shump, you remember this. The death lineup in Golden State, they used it before. It wasn't like they came up with it out of whole cloth, but they discovered its fangs in the 2015 finals. They were in trouble against the Cavs, and they went to that lineup, and they never looked back, okay? The Knicks were in a little bit of trouble this postseason, and they found this Karl Towns, the CAT scan, which, Shump, you should trademark it. I love the CAT scan. But going to the CAT scan, death lineup sounds a little bit tougher. Death lineup's a little bit better, but I like CAT scan. They found it. They've gone to it. And now I honestly believe that regardless of what happens in this series, I think Towns has a place with the Knicks going forward. They definitely should get him under contract and make him a long-term Knick this
It's
summer.
actually good that they found it so late, because if, like you said, if in Abu Dhabi you're showing that and people are prepping for that for the playoffs, I think this sort of came left field. People weren't too worried about that. I think people were more worried about Boston, even though they was going to beat Boston. They were definitely going to beat Boston anyway before Jason Tatum went down. But I look at that and I say, hey, man, if they had a chance to prep for that, I think that looks different starting the playoffs. If everybody knew that this is what they would go to, people knew that they had question marks on their offense, and it got fixed right at the right time.
So there was a moment in game one, I think it was out of a timeout or something, but they cut to Karl-Anthony Towns. He was mic'd up, and he essentially said, like, keep playing defense like this. Our offense will come. Okay. Specifically,
That's big boy
Karl,
stuff.
it was, yeah. And he was right. He ended up being right. Are we confident in game two and beyond in this series that Karl-Anthony Towns can keep up the defensive prowess that he had in game one?
Yeah, I think he got away with a couple of them fouls that we talked about, the ticky-tacks, where guy goes two-hand touch right away. He got away with it on the road. So I don't know if he gets away with those things the same way in game two, but as long as he can stay out of getting two quick ones or, you know, coming out the second half and getting 4 fouls right away, as long as he can make sure, I ain't saying don't use them. You're still a big man. You got 6 of them, use them. But you can't have the unaggressive ticky-tack or mental mistake, breakdown, two-hand touch. You can't have those fouls. As long as he continues to play at a high level, I don't think he even thinks that he shut Wemby down, but he can continue to go out there and be another body on him.
You're not going to win every one of these matchups. He can play that way and still get bested, which is what I think I can see that happening tonight. I expect Karl-Anthony Towns to play at that level because he knows he saw himself what it is that he needs to do against Wembanyama. It doesn't mean Wembanyama not going to move his feet better tonight, particularly on that going left like that, which Karl did a couple of times and ones. So, I think that Karl, yes, I went back to offense, but I think Karl knows what it is he has to do. It doesn't mean he's going to win every one of these.
Andy?
Yeah, I think you have to expect some adversity. Everything's going really, really well for the Knicks right now. There will be some adversity for Cat that will come. And so we've learned a lot about Cat in the first part of this series and this playoffs. Now the next one will be when he does have the adversity, whether it happens tonight or later this series, because I think Cat and the Knicks are actually more. I think what we'll see, we'll even learn more about them after they have a setback, because it's going to happen.
Yeah, we feel like it's inevitable. I don't know, though. Game 2 again tonight here from San Antonio. It'll be on ABC.